Well, number one is part of the process that's really important because that's where you learn the most is failure, right? You know, when you kind of work for something and you set out your plan and you achieve it, what do? You pat yourself on the back and feel good about it, as you should. But what happens often, and we see this a lot in athletes, is they don't take the next step because there's no real impetus to do it. You've achieved something. When you fail to get somewhere, that's when you get the most meaningful learning, because then you have to look back at what you did or did not do and say, okay, how did we get where we are today? And what are the things that I would change going forward to get to the result that we want? So when I have someone that sets a goal and fails to get there, that's your prime time for learning. And quite frankly, if it's not hard and it doesn't hurt, you're not going to be as motivated to do something to get better. It probably means the goal wasn't that important to you if it doesn't bother you that you failed. And, you know, I try to get athletes or anybody, you know, people I work with, you know, when they kind of set out to do something and it doesn't happen, to look at the reasons why, to take away some things that they can change, and the changes are usually personal. You know, what am I going to change? Like in this program, we start setting out on this course, and 3 or 4 years down the road, we're not there. I've got to make some changes, and you know that will affect the other people who will make some changes, and you know it kind of spirals down from there. But I think if you operate from a standpoint of an educated goal setting process, so you're setting a goal that's challenging but doable. And that's where coaches come in. Like, you know, you're working with your athletes. That's one of your main jobs, is to tell them what is possible, but not in a way that's unrealistic. You know, I'd like to tell every 8 and under on North Baltimore Aquatic Club that you can make the Olympics. And you know what? That's true, probably on some level, but not in reality. 1 out of 200 can make it. You know what I mean? So yeah, so the other ones have to, like, you know, work on something that's going to make them feel good, because really the value of the process is not necessarily, you know, an Olympic gold medal. The process is what's the most important thing. It's the lessons that you learned along the way, because everybody's going to have to rely on those long after they're finished with swimming. It's the same thing, but it's just like brought back to the, you know, what I tell people is like they're all kind of goals, right? So you have your sort of long-term dream type goal, and that's emotional, and that is, you know, ASU swimming will contend for national titles. Okay, we're all in. Everybody wants to do that. We're very excited about it. Okay, then you got to figure out, well, when. It's out there. It is not next year, I promise, or 2 years, or 4 years maybe. Okay, so that's something that's out there, that when I get up in the morning and I'm feeling kind of not motivated, that just gets me going, right? That's what I'm here to do, and that's something that's exciting. You then start working back into the long term. So if we're someday going to end up at this dream goal, what is the path that we're going to take to get there? And you can kind of break it into chunks. And you say, well, in 4 years, we want to be in the top 3. Okay? Is that doable? I don't know. Find out soon, but it's probably a good goal, I'd say. Okay? So we're going to work towards that. So if we're going to be in the top 3 in 4 or 5 years, you know, where do we work back to 2 years? Well, we want to be in the top 10 sometime. It's in there. How about in a couple years? You know, so then you just work it all the way back to the most important decision, and that is, what am I going to do right now that's going to help that happen? And for me, it's giving an interview to you, because you're going to share all this wonderful information with people who are going to come help us reach those goals.
And it is wonderful information. I'm happy to play my part.
Well, the postgrad program has a very immediate and specific goal, and that is to swim as fast as they can, you know, next June and next August. And they've been working on those for quite a while. So this is sort of the end of a long process for them, where we're at the beginning of a long process with the college team. So clearly they have some more specific things they're going to be focused on, and you know, we're going to be working to help them kind of fine-tune things to get to the top level.